Good evening, Mr. Pradeep Thangappan.
Good evening, sir. Yeah.
At the outset, thank you very much for sparing your time. And I'm part of the MDA editorial team. And to mark the occasion of the 25th Silver Jubilee year of the MDA and Ananya, we are interviewing a cross-section, across a spectrum of professionals and adult dyslexics who have faced this problem early in life, and to share your thoughts with us in terms of how you have coped, what are the challenges you faced within your family environment in terms of growing up, siblings also, wherever the case may be, and from school to then college, then education and your first job, and people have gone into different areas and they have been very successful, and you being one of them. So the purpose was then to come and spend a few minutes with you and ask you a few questions where you could share your thoughts. To start with, could you give a little brief on what you are doing currently?
Okay, let me start with congratulating MDA for its 25th year, and thank you for the opportunity you've given me here to basically brush through my many years of experience and interesting things.
If you can tell us in brief as to what you are doing today.
Okay, so I am actually involved in multiple things right now. One being I'm working with a startup called Unilumin Photonics, which is amongst one of the only startup which is manufacturing fiber lasers for surgical applications. So I'm heading the company along with two other people from IIT, Dr. Anil Prabhakar and Balaji Srinivasan. So we've been working together on developing surgical appliances with many organizations involved. It's a joint venture which we are doing with IIT Madras and C-Camp Bangalore. So this specific company focuses on delivering low-cost fiber lasers, which is currently imported very, very high price. And we are tying up with hospitals to deliver at much more competitive price and also easily available products. So that is what our focus is on right now.
How many years you have been with this venture?
So this venture is started 2012.
Okay.
And we've not yet got into commercial production, but I think another 6 to 7 months we will be moving to commercial production on this venture.
Okay, that's excellent. Now let me rewind the clock, as it were. So going back to your early days, when did you first know that you were dyslexic?
Well, I think it was close to around 95. I'm not sure, but I think I'm in third, fourth grade, when actually there's a newspaper article which basically my sister looked at, and then my father read it out and said it basically completely fits my profile. It was like my problem was just written in the news article.
Okay.
So I think it was close to around 95 or somewhere there.
You were in your third or fourth grade?
Fourth grade, somewhere there.
Okay.
So when they said, it was an article and it said I had spatial issues. I would not be able to differentiate between the right and the left, and suddenly someone said right, I'll have to think for a minute and to understand which is right and left, and then my spellings, my handwriting, everything. It was like a description of me, which was on the article. And then initially they were thought that only I had the problem, but after the article came in, so they knew that it is a condition, and then it had to be intervened. So I think that is a time when my family and myself came to know, and then luckily we were in Chennai and we visited MDA for an assessment, and I think that is when it was, it was actually
what
said,
was revealed in the assessment? It sort of corroborated whatever your parents.
Yes.
Initially.
Basically, the majority was language issue and understanding, vowels and synonyms and so on. The construct of English itself was not with me. So that was basically said, and I did have issues with maths. Yes.
Okay.
So and they said, and it can be worked with. That is what the first thing they told both my parents and me. That it can be worked with, and then you can have remedy classes which would help you in your schools and other things. Because definitely, I was actually changing schools every year. The schools weren't accepting me because I was not performing in exams. I was not up to the mark with other children. So basically, I think I've changed more than 8 schools to my knowledge. Every year I would get kicked out.
Oh, what classes were they?
I think from
during the third, fourth.
No. I think it started from first, second.
Oh, I see. Okay.
First, second. The schools had their mentality. They
Yes.
were performance driven, and
Correct.
when they found a child which is not performing, and luckily I was lucky enough, my father could admit me in good schools, and then they were all performance driven, and they said, no, you please take your child out. He's not performing up to the mark, or you tell him to repeat a class. So that was the general notion they had.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I think I was almost changing schools every year.
Okay.
And even after the condition came across, and the schools weren't ready to accept it.
Right.
They would still say, I was going into remedy classes, and I was working with the remedial classes. Actually, Lakshmi Ramesh, they had appointed Lakshmi Ramesh. She was doing a freelance remedial classes for me. And even though we knew the conditions and everything, but the schools weren't ready to listen back then.
So post the assessment, then you started with a remedial program.
Yes.
Of the MDA.
Yes.
So how many years did you spend?
I think I was with them until my 10th.
Until your 10th. Okay.
So until I did I think I was the first batch of Ananya 10th pass
Correct.
out.
Which year was that?
Let me work back. So 2007, 4 years. I think 2001.
Okay.
If I got the numbers right, but yeah, somewhere around there.
So how would you sort of summarize this whole thing in terms of how was it in your childhood days in terms of coping with this dyslexic, and how did your parents deal with the situation as you were growing up?
So when I look back now, actually there's a lot of nice experience I had with interacting with people, and just some being in the comfort zone, some not being in the comfort zone. But back then it was mostly embarrassment and humiliation which was there around. People not understanding what the condition is, and it is not like you said, it is not. It's the environment and it's not yourself. So there was a lot amount of humiliation which was part of it, and really demotivating. But I don't know. I'm not sure if it did. I started expanding, or I started thinking the one lesson which came to me is this: there is no one single way to do a thing.
Absolutely.
That was what I learned all along. It's not that there's only one road to what you want to do.
What role did your parents play in this phase as you were growing up and dealing with this problem?
They were neutral. That is one thing I should say. They were not sure. Even though they were introduced it, they didn't know what to do about it. So they were supportive, and they did work with me and helping me cope with all the curriculum and schooling and other and all the stuff. So which is generally was building my foundation,
right.
And they were doing on the build up part, and but with society or with schools they were not able to do anything, and yeah, it's a very tough situation because it's quite way long back, and there weren't much sensitization on those issues.
Right.
So with society they were not able to do anything, but at least in home they were accepting, and they were looking at how we can intervene and how it can be given. So they provided me one-to-one coaching classes in my 10th, 11th and 12th. so that I would clear my exams and get an engineering.
See, in dealing with a child with dyslexia, it's very important that apart from the environment in the school that you're exposed to, it's very important that the same environment is replicated at home.
True.
And you need proper support, and you need proper counseling, and you need proper understanding from a parent's perspective, so that they don't add on to the pressure, as it were. So the parents play a very key role in the formative stage of development, as it were, of the individual. So in this connection, were your parents fully supportive and understanding, and sort of they were used to counsel you from time to time, or?
So that is what I was saying. Yes, they were very supportive.
Right.
They were very constructive in what they had to do about it. But I think the social issues were still bothering me and other things. But yeah, at least I had someone to resent back and
Right.
talk to and other things. That was completely my parents, and they were completely behind my back, supporting and looking at it. It's okay, let's go by it, let's see what can be done. And
Were you the only child to your parents? Or?
No, I had a sister.
Sister?
Yes.
Elder or younger?
Elder. She was
Elder.
an elder sister.
Did she have these challenges, or it was
No,
between the two siblings, it was only you? So she didn't have any,
No.
no trace of any.
No.
Okay.
So it was
okay.
me.
Okay. So therefore, how was it in terms of coping up vis-a-vis your relationship with your sister?
No, actually,
And being an elder sister.
that's true. So initially, yes, it was tough because she was the brightest among, and she used to be the class topper, and me on the other hand was getting ones and zeros. So then actually when they came to know about the condition, and she became my tutor. Basically, she went to one of these MDA courses where the MDA teacher training courses where she got trained, and then she had come back, and then she started working with me. So until then it was tough.
In addition to what you were going through at school, and in addition to your parents being supportive and counseling you from time to time, your sister also played a key role.
Yes, very much.
Taking up the mantle of providing you with some guidance and encouragement.
Just the methods in which
the methodology that was being used.
Yes,
that's excellent. That's excellent. From the time you left Ananya till now, after you finished schooling, when did you finish schooling? You said 2001.
Yeah,
right. So it's about almost 16 years now since you left school. So after school, did you pursue any other education, or in which area did you pursue?
So I did my mechanical engineering.
From
M&M Jain Engineering College.
Right.
So
that's a 4-year course?
That was a 4-year course. So I think I passed 2007. So if I say 4 minus, I think 2003 should be my passing out of school.
And 2007 you did your engineering.
I passed out of engineering.
Okay.
And
did you face any difficulty going through the mechanical engineering
a lot.
course itself?
A lot. But I think after a certain period, I started understanding how you work with the system.
Right.
So I faced a lot of difficulties. It is not that I didn't face any difficulties, but I think I developed a coping mechanism.
Right.
Eventually, as the initial training and all the other things. So I think from 12th I kind of figured out what is required and what is. I didn't really come out with flying colors in my engineering, but I was able to easily scrape through and pass and get sure. If it's a too boring subject, if I don't completely understand, I was able to at least get it through with. And
were the faculty or the head of the department aware of the problem?
No.
And you did not at
no,
any time
we
share?
We did share, but they were too busy. Engineering colleges were all flocking with numbers.
Correct.
So a single teacher had to handle too many students. My class strength was 120.
Okay. So you are one of the 120.
Yes.
Okay.
So for them it was just
another person.
Student.
So you had to sort of cope within
by
yourself.
Myself. Yes.
By yourself. Okay. One of the important aspects of growing up during your school, college days is, sir, the behavioral aspects
Mm-hmm.
of dyslexic. Uh, some are reasonably normal, and some are a little violent, and some they do display certain manifestations of violent behavior. Did you have any, looking back, was that a challenge in terms of any particular behavioral patterns that you remember during your school and college days as a result of
I think
as a result of being dyslexic and in the process of coping up with this?
So what I can recall is again is I'm not sure if I have had any behavioral issue, but maybe someone else would be a better person to say that.
Right.
But I was not able to cope with my peer group.
With
I was
peer
not
group.
able to be.
Was it frustration and
I think it was just the lack of ability to
That-
converse.
the ability to converse?
I think it's no, the context. I was not able to really match what context they're talking with, and match up a conversation.
So
with
it
them.
was not the language per se. It was not in English or
English
a Tamil.
yeah,
It was the context. Okay.
It was the context per se which I was lacking. I'm not sure if I think it vastly disappeared when I think I came around 11th and 12th and near college, and I think it was being exposed to a lot of others. I think I hope so, but yeah. But I was not able to form a context, so I was completely someone who's always left behind and had my time all alone. So that was something which was there, but I didn't per se see other problems or anything. Generally, I'll be left to myself.
In your 4-year period of mechanical engineering, apart from your syllabus and course study, were you involved in a lot of other activities within the college?
Actually, out of college.
I'm sorry?
Actually, out of college. So
Out of college?
Out of college, yes. So basically,
what I wanted to understand was, were you engaged in dramatics or various other extracurricular activities of the college?
I took a little long road. I actually took a year sabbatical. And what I did is I said I will not appear in college, but I will clear my last year exams, is what I said.
Right.
And they agreed to it. And what I did is I was not sure what to pursue, basically, back in college, because I had my heart and soul somewhere, and then engineering wasn't kind of fitting, even though I had my interest initially. So what I did is I started doing photography.
You took a sabbatical in which year?
Fourth year, the final year.
Oh, the final year.
And
Okay.
I did photography.
Right.
And I worked with a photographer called Satyajit. He's an automobile photographer. So I worked actually a year long with him. And partially of my career, I was working with a photographer called Sarana Kumar.
Continuing from where you left off, you said you took a year sabbatical and you
Kind of
found this new interest in photography, and you got involved in this. And how many years was that? Did you get back to engineering at the end of a year?
Yes, I did. I finished my papers.
Okay.
I had cleared my papers, and I think I took a semester extra to clear my papers.
Right.
And
And what did you do after passing out?
So what I did after passing out was I actually kind of felt that I wanted to choose a different stream, not
Right.
the regular
Right.
because engineering, and because most of my friends were hired in programming as in TCS and CTS,
Right.
and I clearly didn't want to go that walk that path. So I was actually working out with different means, and
Right.
I was continuing photography. I was doing small assignments.
Right.
And what I did was also I took up a paying job at Vidyasagar, one of the school.
Yes.
It's a school, Spastic Society
Yes,
of
I
India.
know. Vidyasagar.
Yes. So I did take up a job there, and I was a facilitator.
I see.
And I actually started building assistive aids for them.
Okay.
I designed, built assistive aids, also taught those children photography,
Oh, wonderful.
and I was trying to modify cameras so that they can use with switches and other things. Someone quadriplegia and other things
Right.
can use with switches and other equipments. and that is the period actually I got connected with the IIT Madras.
I see.
So I was connected to the IIT Madras, and they had these 80 assistive devices lab which was there. So I started working with them.
Right.
And then turn of events happened, and I had to take up my family business, which was it was in Ranipet, which was building boilers. So I had to move there. I had to take up my family business, and that was about 5 years. And I found, anyways, I was not willing to go into the business, but yeah, the turn of events made me to take up the business.
Right.
And then I really didn't have my heart towards it, and I kind of felt that product development and research is something which I really like. And again, I approached the people I knew here who had worked
at the
with IIT, and that was around 2012 where we got together. So I approached Dr. Anil Prabhakar, and he said, I have this idea, would you like to join in and pitch in? And I said sure, and then the journey has been on research and product development ever since.
And when did you form this company?
So 2012 was Unilumin.
Right.
And I also have another company actually which was formed in 2015, which builds now assistive technology for a person with disability.
Right.
It's called Enability Foundation. It's a non-for-profit which we have formed.
Wow.
And we are purely working on building assistive devices.
Right.
So, and there are about 2 more projects which I would be taking up in the near future. So, on product development.
And you're also looking for some commercial production of your existing the lasers that you're talking about. Okay, you're well on your way in terms of.
Yeah, very much. We've now tied up with a company called Jiva Science in Bangalore. So we are moving into cellular level imaging and other things with our lasers, along with the surgical applications.
Right.
So we are also expanding our vicinity and our product lines.
You know, the recently held one-day conference on lifelong management of dyslexia at the IIT Madras, I think it was in December 2016 that MD had organized that conference. And one of the key objectives was to make the public aware of the problems of lifelong management of dyslexia. So you have come a long way. From the early days of 3rd and 4th grade when it was detected and how you coped, then your education and now your own business that you ran, and then you had your stint with photography and now into research and all that. Do you feel some certain challenges at every sort of phase of your life that you're still going through certain challenges, and if so, then how are you coping with those kind of challenges?
Oh, huge. So a lot of baggage which comes with the current work I'm doing is actually huge number of presentations, preparing slides, and then reviewing reports and documents. I still have problems sitting long hours and reading. I still have problems with my spelling. It's not really gone. I completely trust my Google and my Windows computer, which has a ability to troubleshoot spellings. So I rely on, but still follow. It's still mistakes happen, but I think now
have you taken any sort of during your professional career till date, has there been any particular initiative in terms of skill building or any specific vocational training or something to help you cope with this? Have you, or you're just taking it in your stride and that moved on? And
I think I just taken it right. I've turned it. This is me. Deal with it. That is all I say. I make mistakes, yes. If you understand, if you have a clarification, I will clarify it to you. Otherwise, this is going to come with mistakes. It has its defects. So I just say that. So I didn't really think that would help me anymore, because it's about being confident on the path and to I feel what I've reached and other things, than the small mistakes. There's much more I can part with knowledge and transfer knowledge to. And I think I generally tell them even so, like, I have my knowledge skills, you take it, you correct my mistakes, and you then transfer it to someone rather than trying to correct me, because it's not going to happen.
From going back to again school days, in your class, where all of you had challenges with dyslexia in one form or the other, have you kept in touch with some of your classmates, and what are they doing? If you maybe a couple of examples in terms of what fields have they gone into?
So I was so there were two, Siddharth and Pema. They were from an NOS. They were just taking classes.
Right.
So I'm in touch with them.
Right.
And
how have they moved on in terms of what area are they working on? Or
so Pema is now I think owning a hotel in Leh Ladakh.
Wow.
And Siddharth runs a tourist agency in Ladakh, and he conducts treks.
Lovely.
And actually a biodiversity trek. He conducts a biodiversity trek where he explains about the biodiversity of Ladakh. So they've been there, so I've been in touch with them. Then I think one of my other mate is Harshavardhan, but I think I lost touch with him.
What are the last time? What do you?
I think after 10th itself, I have not really met him. And back then there was not much Facebook, so I have not been able to find him after that. But I think I was able to kind of get together a few people initially in one. I looked at Ananya's initially. I think when I had some spare time, I came down and took a bunch of alumni's thing, and we had a small meeting. We worked out a meeting, and I think that was the thing. And on and off, like Rakesh, I'm in touch with Rakesh, like through Facebook, and just on and off say hi and bye. But yes.
What do your parents feel now? I mean, now that they have, again, if one were to rewind in terms of what they have gone through, and to see how remarkably well that you have progressed in life, what do the parents have to say now? I mean,
I think they just
and your sister,
the effort they've given. So they are.
They must be very proud parents.
Yes.
Sure. Why not? Given your track record, the way you have handled it, despite all these challenges at home, and your sister also providing you with some guidance on the methodology, as you mentioned, one important thing which I've learned is that the parents have been very supportive, or let me say a family.
Yes.
Because when I say family, then I would include your sister as well. So you have enjoyed that family support, which is very, very critical.
Yes.
Especially during the early development stages. And you have been able to cope. You have made mistakes, and you have learned from your mistakes, and you have developed your own coping mechanisms, as I hear you. Be it school, be it college, be it assisting your father in running his business, or in photography, or in the research and other allied activities. It's been a remarkable journey. What would be your message to the young dyslexics? When I say young, again, the 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and their parents, and also some advice to the older dyslexics in terms of, as they continue to make progress in their life, from your own experience, what would be your message to both the groups of people?
So
firstly, the young.
Yes. So the young, hang in there. That is what I can say. Everybody does this grunt work, and I think school was this grunt work. We had to just get it through. I think it's very important as a foundation to have your schooling and at least a basic degree. So there's no doors that is closing to you. Every door is at least open to you for your experience. Even though I am not sure what exactly I studied in my subject, and am I using it or not? That's a big question mark. But the journey has taught me a lot.
Sure.
The ability to work through and get finish a task has been the greatest lesson I can pick up from school or from college.
Great.
Finish what you started is something what I would say to the youngsters. And to the adults who are looking at careers, I think just follow your heart. You know, you have your passion, may it be the smallest of revenue or the biggest of revenue. You know, once you follow a passionate work, it will take you places. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be day after, but it will reap its benefits. So I think just hang on to your passion and go ahead, no matter what people say. Yeah.
Today you are heading the startup company.
Yes, I am.
So am I right to say you're the managing director of this company?
Yes.
How many people do you employ?
So it's currently 10.
10.
And all IITians graduates, MS, MPhil, MTech, PhD,
Wow.
IITian graduates.
Okay.
So
you have a team of very effective young talented graduates and postgraduates.
Yes.
As part of your team.
Yes.
And you're successfully guiding them and providing them a direction in terms of the way your organization journey has to be the next few years in reaching your own targets and goals and so on and so forth.
Very much.
So once again, it's a remarkable journey that you have been through, and I wish you the very best in the next couple of years, exciting years, as you roll out your first what would you call that, the first product?
First product, yeah, it should be called a product. Yes.
And so obviously you have done your own market research and so on to say that there's a huge demand for that in India. Are there other companies also engaged in this?
Not an Indian company, but yeah, there's lots of I'm basically competing against companies like GE, Philips,
and then you will go through the patent process.
Yes, we already have secured about 3 patents.
You already secured 3 patents.
I think 1 is awarded, 2 is under scrutiny.
Okay.
So I think we would be getting them, and then there's all the regulations and other things. You will have to get through regulations because it's a medical device.
Right.
So we will be working with that, and then I think that will be the time it will hit the market once the regulations are clear.
I'm sure the people who hear this interview will be very encouraged with the kind of success that you have had and how you have coped with the challenges and how you are guiding a team today of intelligent people, and what a transformation that has taken place. I'm sure it would be appropriate to use the word transformation, considering what you were in 4th grade and 5th grade and your total disinterest towards engineering, which you thought you were interested in, and yet you took a turn and followed your heart, as you said, and you have made a great success of yourself. I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors.
Thank you.